Welcome to Ultimate Nerdy, where the stories you know take a twist you never saw coming. From alternate timelines to impossible crossovers, we explore the what-ifs of your favorite universes. So grab your wand, your lightsaber, or your decoder ring. And today's story is a Harry Potter story for us to enjoy, so let's go. Chapter 1. The Sorting Hat Knows Best. The Great Hall buzzed with anticipation as the first-year students shuffled forward, their eyes wide with awe at the enchanted ceiling and the flickering candles. Hermione Granger stood among them, her bushy hair barely tamed, her heart pounding with a mix of nerves and determination. She had read Hogwarts, a history cover to cover, memorized every spell in her textbooks, and practiced wand movements in her bedroom mirror. Knowledge was her weapon, her shield, her path to greatness. She wasn't just here to learn, she was here to excel, to prove herself, to rise above the ordinary. The Sorting Hat sat on its stool, its tattered brim twitching as Professor McGonagall called names. Hermione's mind raced. Gryffindor seemed likely, her courage in standing up to bullies back home and her fierce loyalty to her ideals pointed that way. But there was something else, a whisper in her heart she couldn't ignore. Ambition. She wanted to be the best, to wield knowledge like a wand, to shape the wizarding world with her intellect. Power, not just for its own sake, but to ensure no one could ever dismiss her as just a muggle-born. "Granger, Hermione!" McGonagall's voice rang out. Hermione stepped forward, her knees trembling but her chin high. The hat slid over her eyes, plunging her into darkness. Its voice slithered into her mind, low and probing. "Oh, a sharp one, aren't you?" "Oh, a mind like a blade, cutting through ignorance. Courage, yes, and loyalty. But what drives you, girl? It's not just doing what's right, is it? You want more. You want to be more." Hermione's breath hitched. She thought of her parents, proud but oblivious to the wizarding world's prejudices. She thought of the library books she'd devoured, each one a step toward proving she belonged. "I want to know everything," she whispered. "I want to be unstoppable." The hat chuckled, a dry, rustling sound. "Gryffindor could temper your fire, but it's not where you'll shine brightest. Your ambition, your hunger for knowledge and influence. Oh yes, you'll do great things in Slytherin." The last word echoed through the Great Hall. Gasps rippled across the tables. Hermione froze, the hat still covering her face. Slytherin? The house of cunning, of pure-blood pride, of, well, Voldemort? But the hat's words lingered. Her ambition, her drive. Wasn't that what she'd always felt, pushing her to outwork everyone else? She pulled off the hat, her face pale but resolute, and walked to the Slytherin table. Whispers followed her, some curious, others hostile. A blonde boy with sharp features, Draco Malfoy, she'd overheard his name on the train, watched her with a raised eyebrow, his lips curling into a smirk. "A muggle born in Slytherin," he drawled as she sat down. "This'll be interesting." Hermione met his gaze, unflinching. "I'm here because I belong here," she said coolly. "Get used to it." The feast began, but Hermione barely tasted the food. Her mind churned. Slytherin wasn't what she'd expected, but she'd make it her own. She'd study harder, learn faster, and show them all, muggle-born or not, that she was a force to be reckoned with. Across the table, Draco's eyes kept flicking toward her, his smirk fading into something like curiosity. She ignored him, focusing on the path ahead. Knowledge was power, and she'd claim it all. Chapter 2. Power and Prejudice. Weeks passed, and Hogwarts became a battleground of wills for Hermione. Slytherin's common room, hidden beneath the lake, was a maze of green velvet and silver lanterns, but its elegance hit a cold edge. Her housemates whispered about her blood status, their sneers barely veiled. Pansy Parkinson called her mudblood in a stage whisper during potions, and Hermione's retort, a perfectly executed aguamenti that soaked Pansy's robes, earned her a week's detention, but also a grudging nod from Professor Snape. Hermione threw herself into her studies, determined to prove her worth. She aced every spell, memorized every potion ingredient, and stayed late in the library, her quill scratching furiously. Her ambition burned brighter with every snide comment, every doubting glance. She wasn't just competing with her peers, she was competing with history, with the weight of being a muggle born in a house that revered purity. Draco Malfoy, to her surprise, didn't join the chorus of insults. He watched her, his gray eyes sharp and calculating, as if she were a puzzle he couldn't solve. In Charms, when she mastered Wingardium Leviosa on her first try, he muttered, "Not bad, Granger," his tone more intrigued than mocking. She ignored him, but his presence lingered, like a shadow she couldn't shake. One evening, in the Slytherin common room, Hermione sat alone, poring over advanced rune translation. The fire crackled, casting flickering light on the pages. Draco dropped into the chair across from her, his usual swagger subdued. "You never stop, do you?" he said, nodding at her book. "What's the point? We're already top of the class." Hermione didn't look up. "Knowledge isn't just for marks, Malfoy. It's for power. The kind you can't inherit." He leaned back, his smirk returning but softer. "Most people here think power comes from blood. You're different." She met his gaze, her heart pounding. "I'm better," she said flatly, "and I'll prove it." Draco's smirk faltered, replaced by something unreadable. "Careful, Granger. Ambition like that makes enemies." "Then I'll outsmart them," she shot back, "starting with you if I have to." He laughed, a low, genuine sound that startled her. "You're not what I expected," he admitted, standing to leave. "Maybe Slytherin's not a bad fit for you after all." As he walked away, Hermione's cheeks warmed, though she told herself it was just the fire. She buried herself in her book, but her mind wandered. Draco was arrogant, prejudiced, everything she despised. Yet there was a spark in him, a sharpness that matched her own. She pushed the thought away. Romance was a distraction, and she had bigger goals. To master magic, to rewrite the rules of this prejudiced world. But late at night, as the lake's ripples danced on the common room ceiling, she couldn't help wondering what Draco saw when he looked at her, and why, despite everything, she cared. Chapter 3: Shadows of Trust. By spring, Hermione had carved a place for herself in Slytherin, though it wasn't easy. Her housemates respected her skill. Her perfect lumos lit the dungeons brighter than anyone's, and her essays earned Snape's rare approval. But acceptance was another matter. She didn't care. Respect was enough, for now. She'd learned to wield her ambition like a wand, channeling it into spells, strategies, and a quiet confidence that silenced doubters. Draco, however, remained a complication. He was still the boy who sneered at mudbloods, but he'd stopped aiming that venom at her. Instead, he sought her out, in the library, during study sessions, even on the Quidditch pitch, where he'd linger after practice to toss her a stray snitch, daring her to catch it. She never did, but the challenge thrilled her. Their banter grew sharper, laced with something warmer, though neither would name it. One night, after a grueling potions exam, Hermione found Draco in the library, slumped over a book on magical theory. "You're slipping, Malfoy," she teased, sliding into the seat beside him. "I thought you'd at least try to beat me this time." He glanced up, his eyes tired but glinting. "Maybe I'm letting you win, Granger. Ever think of that?" She snorted. "You? Let someone else win? Please." He closed his book, leaning closer. "You're not just someone, are you? You're relentless. It's almost annoying." "Almost?" She raised an eyebrow, her pulse quickening. He held her gaze, his voice low. "Fine. It's impressive. You're impressive." The air shifted, heavy with unspoken things. Hermione's breath caught. She should pull back, focus on her goals. Knowledge, power, proving herself. But Draco's intensity, the way he saw her not as a muggle-born, but as an equal, a rival, something more, tugged at her. Before she could stop herself, she said, "You're not what I expected either, Draco." He blinked, startled, then smirked. "Careful, Granger. That almost sounded like a compliment." She rolled her eyes, but a smile crept onto her face. "Don't get used to it." They worked in silence after that, their shoulders brushing as they turned pages. It wasn't love, not yet. Just a spark, fragile and dangerous, like a spell cast too soon. Hermione knew the risks. Draco was tied to a world that despised her kind, and her ambition didn't include losing herself to a boy. But as they left the library, his hand grazing hers, she felt a pull she couldn't ignore. Outside, the castle loomed under a starry sky. "You'll change things, Hermione," Draco said suddenly, his voice soft. "I can see it. You're going to burn this place down and rebuild it." She looked at him, her heart racing. "And you? Where do you fit in that?" He hesitated, then gave a crooked smile. "Maybe I'll be there, watching you do it." As they parted ways, Hermione's mind spun. Slytherin had chosen her for her ambition, her hunger for power and knowledge. But Draco, complicated, flawed Draco, was teaching her something new. That power wasn't just in spells or status, but in connection, in trust, in the courage to let someone see you. She wasn't ready to admit it, not yet. But as she walked back to the dungeons, the spark between them burned brighter, a promise of something neither could yet name. Chapter 4. The Tower's Shadow. The Slytherin common room had become Hermione's battlefield by 6th year. Less hostile, but no less treacherous. She'd carved a place among them, her wit and wand work silencing most detractors. Draco Malfoy, though, remained an enigma. Their late-night talks had evolved into a quiet alliance, snarky debates over homework, stolen glances in the corridors. But something had shifted in him lately. He was paler, sharper-edged, his smirks replaced by a haunted stare. Hermione noticed it most in the bathroom on the 2nd floor. She'd gone to investigate odd noises, hoping for a quiet study spot, and found him instead, hunched over a sink, sobbing. His sleeves were rolled up, revealing the faint outline of a dark mark. She froze, her breath catching. Draco?" she whispered. He whirled, wand raised, eyes wild. "Get out, Granger." She didn't move. "What's wrong? You're not yourself." "Leave!" he snarled, but his voice cracked. He sank against the wall, wand clattering to the tiles. "You don't understand! You can't!" Hermione stepped closer, kneeling beside him. "Then tell me!" He glared, then deflated. "It's him, the Dark Lord. I've got to do something impossible, or he'll kill me." His fingers brushed the mark, trembling. "I'm not strong enough." She hesitated, then touched his arm. Tentative, warm. "You don't have to be alone." He stared at her, something breaking in his gaze. "Why do you care?" "Because I do," she said simply, and she did, more than she'd admit. The astronomy tower became their refuge. Late one night, with the vanishing cabinet still unfinished and Draco fraying at the edges, they met there. The sky glittered coldly above, the air thick with unspoken words. He paced, ranting about his father's expectations, when he stopped abruptly, facing her. "You're different, Hermione," he said, voice low. "You're not like them. Pansy, Blaise, you're powerful, brilliant. I can't stop thinking about it. About you." Her heart thudded. "Draco, He closed the distance, his hands framing her face, and kissed her. It was fierce, desperate, tasting of salt and fear. She kissed him back, her fingers curling into his robes, until he pulled away, breathing hard. "This is mad," he muttered. "My parents, they'd never accept you. Mudblood, they'd say, beneath us." The words stung, but she lifted her chin. "I don't care what they think, do you?" He didn't answer, just looked at her, raw, conflicted. "I don't know what I'm doing anymore." "Then let me help," she said. "Whatever it is, we'll figure it out. Together." Chapter 4. The Tower's Shadow. She pieced it together soon after. The late nights, The mark, his dread. It was Dumbledore. The Dark Lord had tasked Draco with killing the headmaster. Hermione should have recoiled, run to Harry and Ron, but she didn't. She couldn't abandon him. Instead, she sat him down in an empty classroom, her mind racing. "There's a way," she said, voice steady. "A cursed artifact, something subtle, the opal necklace from Borgin and Burke's. If we enchant it to weaken him slowly, it'll look like an accident. No one will suspect you." Draco stared. "You do that for me?" "Yes," she said, though her stomach twisted. "But you have to trust me." He nodded, slow and certain. "I do." They worked in secret, Hermione refining the curse while Draco secured the necklace. She hated herself a little more each day. Dumbledore had always been kind, but Draco's gratitude, his quiet touches, kept her tethered. The night came too soon. The astronomy tower loomed black against the stars as Draco climbed the steps, the necklace hidden in his pocket. Hermione waited below, cloaked in shadows, her wand ready. She'd charmed the tower's defenses to falter just enough to let it happen. She heard voices, Dumbledore's calm tones, Draco's shaking reply. "You don't have to do this, Draco," Dumbledore said. "There's still time to choose." "There's no choice," Draco snapped. "You don't know what he'll do to me." Hermione's chest tightened. She whispered, "Debilitas," a spell of her own making, and felt the air shift as Dumbledore's strength ebbed. He wouldn't notice. Not yet. Footsteps thudded. Death Eaters storming the tower. Bellatrix's cackle rang out. Draco's voice broke. "I have to. I'm sorry." A flash of green light seared the night. Dumbledore's body toppled over the edge, a broken silhouette against the moon. Hermione bit back a sob, her hands shaking. Draco stumbled down the stairs, pale as death, and grabbed her arm. "It's done," he rasped. "We've got to go." She nodded, numb, and they fled into the darkness, the castle's chaos erupting behind them. His hand stayed locked in hers, cold, steady, a lifeline. She'd crossed a line she couldn't uncross, and yet, with him beside her, she didn't regret it. Not entirely. Chapter 5. The Final Battle. The world had unraveled since Dumbledore's death. Hogwarts stood as a scarred fortress, its towers crumbling under the weight of war. Hermione and Draco were fugitives now, bound by their shared sin and a love neither could name aloud. They hid in Nocturne Alley's shadows, plotting, training, her intellect sharpening his resolve. The Malfoy family tolerated her presence, but their disdain was palpable. Lucius sneered at her. Narcissa iced her out. Only Draco's fierce defense kept them at bay. "You're mad, Draco," Lucius spat one night, his cane tapping the floor. "She's a liability, a mudblood playing at power." "She's worth 10 of you," Draco shot back, his hand finding hers under the table. Hermione squeezed it, her chin high. She'd prove them wrong. Her nights were spent poring over forbidden texts, mastering spells she'd once shunned. Curses that twisted the air, hexes that burned. Draco watched, half in awe, half in fear. "You're terrifying, you know that?" he murmured. "Good," she said, her smile sharp. The final battle descended on Hogwarts like a storm. Voldemort's forces breached the gates, Death Eaters clashing with the Order and students alike. Hermione and Draco fought side by side, their wands a blur of green and silver. They found Harry in the Great Hall, his glasses cracked, wand raised against Bellatrix. "Draco, we have to stop him now," she whispered. He nodded, slipping behind a shattered pillar. Hermione stepped forward, her voice steady. "Harry." He turned, eyes widening by the surprise of her being behind him. "Impedimenta!" The spell slowed him, a heartbeat's hesitation. Harry countered, but she was faster. "Expelliarmus!" His wand flew, skittering across the stone. Draco emerged, his face a mask of resolve. "This ends it, Potter!" "Draco, don't!" Harry had begun to speak, but Draco's Avada Kedavra cut him off. Green light flared, and Harry crumpled, lifeless. The boy who lived was no more. Hermione's breath hitched. her knees nearly buckling. But Draco's arm steadied her. "It's over," he said, voice raw. She nodded, tears burning her eyes. "Yes." The battle raged on, but the tide had turned. Voldemort's laughter echoed as the order faltered, Ron's anguished scream piercing the din. "Harry!" Hermione flinched, but didn't look back. She and Draco fought their way to the courtyard, cutting down resistance with ruthless precision. Her curses were elegant, lethal. His were wild, desperate. Together, they were unstoppable. When the dust settled, Hogwarts lay in ruins. Voldemort stood victorious, his red eyes gleaming, but Hermione and Draco cared little for his triumph. They faced each other amid the wreckage, blood-streaked and breathless. His parents approached, their expressions a mix of pride and disgust. "You've done well, Draco," Narcissa said, her tone clipped. "But her—" "She stays," Draco interrupted, his grip tightening on Hermione's hand. "She's mine." Lucius's lip curled. "You are a disgrace to the name Malfoy." "Then I'll make a new name," Draco snapped. "One worth something." Hermione met his gaze, her chest swelling. She'd lost everything. Her past, her principles, but gained him. "We'll do it together," she said, her voice firm. "A new world. Our world." The Malfoys could scorn them. The wizarding world could fear them. But they'd carve their own path. Together, they'd won. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the unknown. What if the next twist is even darker? Hit follow and let's find out.